Well, hi there. So today I'm gonna be out here in the garden down in Raccoon Alley. I'm actually gonna be pulling some plants from what I call my dump bed. And it's just basically a garden that I hold plants in until I have a spot to put them. So I'm gonna be doing that. And then I also wanted to give you a little bit of an update on these Ben Verneuil hosta that I transplanted up here the other day. I wanted to, number one, encourage you guys, because several of you will comment to me that, man, I wish I could get the plants to perform in my garden like they do yours. I moved some things and it just didn't work out. I transplanted some things and they're not looking the greatest. And yours always work. And I want to tell you that's not true. This being one of it. So I'm going to flip you around and show you what's going on with these Ben Verneuil hosta. I'm not going to give up on it. They obviously are in shock, but they could also be getting way too much sun. This could have been just a bad idea. I don't know. But you never know until you try. So that's kind of the fun of it. The worst that could happen is these start to look bad and then I move them back to a little bit more shade. But I wanted to encourage you guys a little bit that it does in fact happen to me where I'm like, all right, let's try this, let's go for it. And then it ends up being like, well, we'll just count that as a loss and learn from it. So let me show you these hostas. You can see right here, they're browning up on the leaves. They've never done that before where I had them in the past. And I'm pretty sure this is because my husband hits these with the overhead sprinkler. So what's happening is they get watered in the morning time and then the leaves are all wet, and then this is what happens. The sun comes out and burns the water on the leaves and it does this. So I'm gonna give them a chance. This one down here looks the best. I actually don't really see too much leaf damage except for right there. So this could just be a mixture of them being in shock from the transplant. And I think I also split a couple of them too. So not only were they transplanted, they were split, and they're getting a lot more sun than they normally do with overhead sprinkling and burning. So there you go. Real life here. Like I said, I'm not giving up on them just yet. I literally just planted them, so I'll probably give them through next year to see how they do. And if they don't do great, I'll find another plant. It's kind of fun. Anyway, I did just want to encourage you guys with that because it doesn't always work out like sunshine and butterflies for me over here. So you're not alone. You're not alone out there. But anyway, let's get down to the plants I want to pull from my dump bed. Down over here, this is my dump bed. A lot of these hosta have just kind of volunteered. They were little tiny shoots and I just threw them in here in case I need them one day. There's some nice heuchera in there. What else is in there? Oh, some pulmonaria. I think that's the spot on. There's some geranium. That like limey green chorus grass back there. This hosta is really pretty. I think the tag's in there somewhere. I can't remember what it is. Some astilbe, a big chunk of Brunnera, which is what we're going to transplant, some sedum, and some hosta. There's just all kinds of stuff in here that I'm saving for when I need it. And so today I wanted to take these Brunnera right here. I've got 3, and I actually might be able to split them into more, but there's 1, 2, 3, and I'm gonna take these because I like this kind of straight color silver leaf with the minimal veining in it, and I think it's gonna look good right over here in front of my stained glass hosta. I used to have for years 3 wildberry heucheras in here, and they looked great the first year I planted them, and then through the years, each year they kept getting smaller and smaller, meaning they did not like it here at all. The color contrast was absolutely amazing, but I had to kind of come to grips with it this year and be like, you know what, they don't work in here, let's move them. And I actually moved them up into my lane up there in the full sun. So I'm thinking that Brunnera color might look good in here with the variegation of the stained glass and then that wide brim. That silvery straight color might look good in here, and I have 3 of them. Here's kind of a view from up top of the hill. So that's why I want to put the 3 Brunnera, and it will also kind of tie into these Brunnera right here. So it won't just like cut your eye off. You can kind of keep going down the hill there. I know I have 3 of these in here. This is called the Looking Glass Brunnera, but I'm just gonna dig each one out, and then we'll see what the root looks like. And I might even split them. I don't know. We'll see. I don't need to split them. I don't really need any more of this kind at this point, but let's see here. Yeah, we'll just leave it like that. It's a nice, decent sized plant, and it will fill in really good in there. So I was gonna, I'll put them in this bucket here. Okay, so there's one. See how pretty that is? And I bought these on clearance last year for $2 a piece, and I didn't need them at the time, but I just bought them anyway, held them over through the winter in this little bed here, and now it's like I'm getting free plants. I mean, I paid $2 each for them, but still, if I were to go out and buy these, I'd have to pay full price. So that's kind of one of the little tricks I try to do, is buy things on clearance and then hold it over somewhere until I need it, because you can really save a lot of money that way. Okay. And these have put on quite a bit of size since I bought them, which is awesome. That's another thing too. If you buy it, throw it in the ground, you don't necessarily have a place for it at the time, but meanwhile, not only did you save money, it's putting on size in your garden until you need it. Right, so I'm gonna go get one more pot. This one is back in there a little bit. Ooh. Oh, there's a chunk of wood there. Oh, it's actually a chunk of my edging. This edging we put in, years ago, and it's finally starting to rot. I'm gonna have to figure something else out. I think I buried this one with a tag. You can see what this looks like. This Looking Glass. And it says, blooms mid to late spring, 12 to 15 inches tall and wide, full shade. This beauty gets better with age. The foliage starts out lightly silvered with green veins and matures to nearly all silver with a glossy sheen. Its small forget-me-not blue flowers in spring will further brighten the shaded garden. Okay, man, these plants look so great. They put on so much size since I planted them. I'll try to go back and find the movie of when I bought these, but they were not this big, that's for sure. I was a little, actually, if I remember right, they weren't the greatest looking. They looked actually like a clearance plant. All right, let's go up here. Yeah, that will be nice. Nice contrast. See if we like it. Oh yeah, I think we do. All right, let's move the mulch out of the way. It's so hard to find color, you know, other than, like, the hostas are awesome. They provide lots of different greens and blues and whites, yellow color. But to get that like purplish, orangish, reddish color going on, you need like heuchera or something like that. And a lot of times, like my soil is so rich and really, especially down here, it's really wet. And it's wet in a good way. It's not clay down here. It's like up in the top there. It's wet in a good way, so the hosta just thrive down here. But unless it has some sort of sunlight going on, my heuchera just don't do good because it's almost too wet. So what I am probably going to just have to do is plant annuals to get color, that reddish purple color that I want to try and go for down here. Get that planted in there. Throw some fertilizer on it. The mulch back. These are the walnut tree leaves. They fall from the walnut trees. One of you guys asked me, I think it was Tenenbaum Girl, asked me if I had walnut trees, and yes, I do. They fall all over the place. It creates a mess out here. I mean, it's not terrible. If I don't pick them up, they usually just turn into, you know, natural mulch on the ground. But yes, I know you were saying that having walnut trees in my garden might be the reason why some of my plants are smaller than others when they were planted at the same time. It's a good point. I'm not really sure, but yeah. Anyway, okay, so there we go. There's that one, and I'm actually going to come in here and just pick off these spent blooms. This never got deadheaded. Like that. There we go. It's pretty. Okay, now this one. This is making my eyes feel a lot better, having these little spots filled back up. Yeah, with this wet, rich soil in the full shade, the heuchera were not too happy in here. And I should have moved them years ago. Sometimes you just get attached to stuff and you really want your idea to work, but you know in the back of your mind it's not gonna happen. And then years later you're like, all right, let's be honest with ourselves here. It's not gonna work. I thought it was a rock, but oh, there's a rock. There's a rock and a root in there. Oh, this one's big root ball. Geez, might have to go deeper with that hole. There we go. And I pretty much memorized what this is, but I'll just leave this in here just in case. Interrupting your regularly scheduled program. I just was editing this and I realized that I'm planting a looking glass Brunnera next to a stained glass hosta. So I thought that was kind of cool. We got the looking glass and stained glass right next to each other. But anyway, let's get back to it. A lot of you ask me how I remember a lot of my plants so well. Honestly, like almost every night I come take a walk through my garden and I'll like quiz myself. So I won't walk past a certain plant unless I remember what it's called. So, you know, as I'm walking up this path, I'll be like, stained glass, and I won't walk past it until I'm like, wide brim, looking glass, and that kind of helps me. It's almost like flashcards, I guess. Helps me remember. I'm just picking off the dead spent blooms. While I'm out here, I was thinking I might do a little bit more moving and possibly splitting. Right in here I have two silver scrolls heuchera. Same situation as my wildberry that I was having up there. These have been in here for a little bit, and they are not really thriving at all. So I was thinking about moving those, and then I also have a hellebore there and a hellebore there. So I was thinking about moving those two heuchera and then possibly splitting that hellebore and putting one up there. That way I've got 3 hellebores, so 1, 2, 3, and then it kind of takes you into the 3 Brunnera and then up to those Brunnera. Yeah, it's so wet down here. Yeah, this is not not loving its life right here at all. But the crazy thing is, it's still alive. It just wants to survive. It's like, please, I'll live if you just move me to a better spot. And I have a couple more of the silver scroll right in there, so I'll just pop those in there with their little buddies. Really need to get in here and weed. I don't really care where they go. I'm just gonna plop them in. That left me a little spot right there for one more hellebore. And I was thinking about splitting one of these, but these ones were splits, I don't know, a couple years ago, so they're not terribly big yet. I have a giant one right up here. It's a different kind than those other two. I don't mind that it's a different color, so I think I might take a split off of that one. I might just shove my shovel in there. Let's see here. No, I'm gonna dig it up. I'm gonna dig the whole thing up, because I might want to move it over a little bit once I dig and center whatever is left. I have to go get my big shovel. There we go. There's a root in there. Wow, this thing is massive. Holy cow. Alright, I could get more than one plant off this. This thing is awesome. Wow. Alright, so let's see here. I mean, there's really no... Here, I'll show you how big that is. Just looking for like a natural division. I don't really see one without sacrificing some of these shoots. I think I might just go straight down the middle like that. And it's pretty solid root ball, so I'm just gonna use my shovel. All right. There we go. Now I did sacrifice some leaves, but well, did it go all the way through? Yeah, it did. So I did sacrifice a couple, but that's all right. The root ball is still there. Look at that. Wow. So pretty. Okay. So I'm gonna leave that one in this hole, maybe shift it over a little bit so it's more centered, and I'll take this one down below. We lost these. There's some roots on it though, so I might actually plant these in the ground and see what happens. These are so pretty. I don't know if this is gonna do anything, but I'm just gonna put them in here. See if they root. They could just die. I don't know. There we go. Doesn't even look like we did anything. That was a lot of fun. I'm so glad to have found a home for a couple of clearance plants that I got last year. So $6, and those looking glass Brunnera look great in there. It's really fun to do stuff like that. And then also, you know, those heuchera that were there, those have been bothering me for years. And finally I moved them and was able to replace it with a free plant from the giant hellebore that I have up there, and that'll also give me kind of a nice pleasing set of 3 plants right here and some color in the winter time, which is always an added bonus. But I hope this encourages you guys to you know, continue to move stuff around, divide stuff, split stuff. You know, if you're not satisfied with something that's going on in your garden, or there's a plant that just isn't thriving where you put it, it's not permanent, you know, unless it's like a giant tree. Obviously if I was like, oh, I just don't like where this this pear tree is anymore, I'm gonna dig it up and move it. Obviously that's not an option. Where's a little butterfly? But a lot of these plants, you know, they can be moved and they really don't miss a beat. Hey buddy. Usually all the butterflies are over by my zinnias, but they do love my hosta blooms here. So yeah, anyway, let that be an encouragement to have a little confidence and bravery when it comes to gardening in your yard. A lot of the plants just want to survive, and they just need the perfect spot and perfect conditions to do so. Well, I appreciate you being here with me today. It's just a lot of fun hanging out with you guys and sharing these little moments in the garden. Hope that your day is great today, or your night, your afternoon, whatever time of day you're watching this. I hope it's wonderful. And we'll see you next time. Bye.